Well, Dada, thank you so much. Welcome back to the World Tour of Meditation for this In These Times update. Um, how have you been faring in the last 2, 3 weeks?
I'm okay. I'm alive. My friends are alive and well, so that's a good thing. Um, it's obviously everybody's kind of a little bit in no, maybe not in shock, but we don't know what's happening. We don't know what things are going to look like in a few weeks. So there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty, anxiety. I'm just not personally. I'm not that anxious. I realized. I'll tell you what struck me. I'm working on an article about this actually. Many people are stressed by a lot of different things, but one of them is being stuck at home.
Yes.
Everyone's kind of like under house arrest. I've been putting myself under house arrest for 40 years. I'm sort of, I sit down and, kind of self-kidnap and meditate twice a day, every day, 3 times, 4 times. So I'm used to sort of being alone, sometimes in an ashram for months. We didn't get to go out. We had no movies, digital entertainment, going out to, for parties, nothing. So I've lived under house arrest before.
And while that sounds really delicious to someone like me, um, there is that difference, though, between this house arrest of your own volition
Yes.
versus this house arrest that is not in your control one iota.
Well, of course. What I'm saying is that I've learned how to make it enjoyable, and I think I can help other people, kind of hack it and make it more enjoyable and fruitful, actually. Because I'm always looking at how to benefit from challenges and difficulties, because there's always that possibility. Everyone has problems at different times. We have a crisis now which is affecting all of us, but before that, many people already had a crisis of different types. Everybody has their personal crises. There are whole people living in war zones. Their lives already a crisis.
Wow.
So,
that's such a good reminder.
We don't think about it until it affects us. Usually, that's human nature, unfortunately. So, how I sort of try and get through life in the best way is, okay, if there's a problem, if it's maybe a little personal crisis with me, it might be about, who knows, friends, money, relationships, illness, anything. I try and think, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I, in some way, I or other people, how can we benefit from it? We're going to go through a difficult time, but how can we come out having gained something? Otherwise, it's a waste, because I see life as a learning opportunity. It's something that we're supposed to grow through. That's kind of what it's for, as far as I can see. We're supposed to grow.
What are some tips for people who might be feeling stuck, anxious, irritated?
Sure. So the first thing that comes to mind is perspective. So it's very easy to focus on the news cycle and all the bad news, and there's always stuff coming in. It's a lot of it is alarming, and we sort of project the numbers. It's super alarming, but that's not all of reality.
Really?
Yeah, this is the thing. You think, because you're seeing it on the news every day, you think that's all of reality. And I know that's not, but there's a whole lot of other stuff happening that people aren't talking about. I mean, the big example that sort of struck me is, okay, what happened in China, where this started, was devastating, and a lot of people died. I think more than 4,000 or something like that. That's tapered off because they did an amazing job. I mean, the very authoritarian government really showed how good they are at controlling things, and they have experience also with this kind of thing. They were actually very well prepared. They did an amazing job of controlling it. So that number is probably not going to go up very much. But what did go down is the air pollution in China, and you've probably heard about that. But it went down so much that they estimate that will probably save 70,000 lives. So that's like 20 times or 15 times the number of people who died from the virus. So there's all this stuff going on that we don't even think about. How do we know what's going to be the long-term impact of the fact that air pollution has gone down all over the world dramatically because the planes aren't flying and the cars aren't driving and the factories aren't spewing out pollution? This could slow down global warming. Can you think of how many lives are going to be changed and improved? And I mean,
so this virus might have just saved us from destroying ourselves.
I don't know. But just because we think something is terrible and bad and it's the end of the world doesn't mean it is.
Gotcha. That was a great example of perspective.
We don't have, perspective, because perspective is kind of everything. So one of the things about meditation is that it can give us perspective on ourselves. And that really helps to bring peace. Because if you can step back and identify that part of yourself with that part of yourself that doesn't change every time you get upset or every time you don't get what you want, but that part of yourself that just knows that you exist. And it's like this calm center that we always forget about, right? You can come back to that and identify with that, with rather than all the fluctuating emotions and thoughts and the kind of monkey mind. Then that gives you a perspective on your own mind, and you don't get so disturbed and upset and anxious. And you realize, okay, I'm all anxious about these things that, firstly, probably it may not affect me as badly as I think it will. It probably won't. It's probably, I have very limited control over it. So there's no point in getting anxious about it. Okay, yes, I should do what I can. I should be responsible and try and help people as best as I can. But once I'm doing that, what's the point in getting more upset? Actually, getting upset and anxious about it makes me more likely to get sick because it undermines my immune system. So if you really want to be practical about this, don't get anxious about it if you can avoid it. And a good way to avoid it is
understand, but think that they don't have control over how they feel, or think that they don't have control over whether they're anxious or not.
That's the only thing you have control over. Or you can get control over, right? All the other stuff that you're reading about in the news, that's the stuff you'd have no control over. You have very little.
What you say is perspective, but then also this belief that we have, like, of what we actually have control over, and we think we have control over something that we don't have any control over, but actually we have control over the most important thing for our well-being right now.
Yeah, there's a famous saying from my master. He said that a yogi is a practical person, which is kind of almost really like that sounds unusual, but he always emphasizes this, and I thought, okay, what does that really mean? When I look at, I take that very much to heart, and I look at this situation, I think, okay, well, what can I do about it? So what the things I can do about it are, as I said earlier, be a responsible citizen, avoid, follow all the rules, wash my hands like a good little raccoon, and how raccoons wash their hands all the time? You don't know. Raccoons, they're famous for washing their hands all the time. They're crazy. They wash potatoes, they wash everything.
What?
Raccoons, they wash
potatoes?
Raccoons are the hand washing champions of the world. So we'll be good little raccoons, and then we'll also be good little, not being within 6 feet of people and not going out and closing your little shop because they, want to limit physical contact because that's obvious. And then eat healthy, exercise, make sure you get outdoors, all those things you can do. All right. So do all that. And then you can actually begin. This is actually an opportunity, because one thing that people have now that they usually don't have, or many people, not everyone, is time. And, I've taught meditation in prisons. They're some of the best students because they have time and they don't have anything to distract them. And now everybody is under house arrest. And it's the perfect time for everyone to learn meditation and practice because they have no choice.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Am I a mean monk?
No, that's perfect.
Look, let's figure out how we can actually use this opportunity to change our lives.
And what would you say to someone who might be listening and who might be like unwilling or kind of skeptical of the possibility of using this to change our lives? Kind of like, but people are dying, but I'm worried, but this, rather than let me change my life, because that takes a mindset, right?
So that's why I encourage people to ask themselves this question. What can I do? What do I have control over? And the one thing right now, if you have more time, as a lot of people do, how can I best utilize that time? Am I going to spend that extra 20 hours a week watching Netflix? Or am I going to actually take 5 of those hours and learn to meditate? That could change your life. Watching Netflix is not going to change your life. I can pretty much guarantee that. There's a lot of good stuff on Netflix, but that's not what's going to change your life.
Dadaji, I really like how you said that. That question of not even how it's going to change my life, because that seems so big sometimes, but that question of what do I have control over? I think that's yeah.
I'm just restating what some smart people said before. I mean, the whole thing about not getting upset about things you can't control is an ancient wisdom.
Right. So what do you have control over? Thank you. Anything else you want to add?
I just want to thank you for putting together this lovely meditation series, and it's going to help a lot of people. I think it's a cool idea.
Oh, yeah. So if you're not subscribed yet to the World Tour of Meditation, this is a series of add-ons of in these times and how do you navigate these times. But we also have amazing speakers from all around the world debunking myths around meditation so you can actually access inner peace, calm, and joy. And Dada speaks with us there for a long, amazing time about Lord of the Rings and dragons. And
did I talk about that stuff in our interview? God, I'm so bad.
It's fantastic, and it's about meditation. So thank you, Dada, for joining us. And if you're watching this and would like to join us in the World Tour of Meditation, sign up for that too.
Thanks, Daksha.
Thanks, Dada.